Welcome to this week's Yep Yeah Yes with Tamika and Marisa. I want to say Tamika, but I'll be Marisa this week. That's Tamika. Tamika, how's your cough?
It's still there, but it's fine.
Yeah. Funny enough, I have been feeling slightly under the weather, and a lot of people have colds and coughs and stuff like that at my job. So I know it's that, but you know, like everything, you're like, oh my God, Rona, is that you, ho? Do you ever feel that way?
Oh, ever since March.
Okay. Ho, is that you?
I'm like, I get a little tickle in my throat. I'm like, oh, let me bring out the humidifier. Humidifier will get rid of anything.
That's what and some Vicks Vapor Rub.
Well, the humidifier is a Vicks humidifier, so I put the ointment, what do you call it, the liquid in there, and so that's all you smell. And I know, like, I have an apartment with my cousin, and I know when she comes home from work, because she works nights, she comes home and all she smells is like a geriatric
a menthol,
not beautiful candles and roses. It's like Vicks vapor.
But that'll cure anything.
Yep.
Homie, this week I want to talk about something that you and I have talked about this before, but offline. But this is like unintentional racism. And I'm putting air quotes in there because there's times that we have been unintentionally racist, and then we learn about it. And I'm gonna talk about my own personal unintentional, but it wasn't really unintentional. It was not intentional either. Y'all get what I'm gonna say. Just bear with me. I'm long-winded. Y'all know this by now. So there was this beautiful cover of I thought it was beautiful. I like that artsy avant-garde sort of magazine covers with Harry Styles of it. Was it Vogue magazine, right?
I'm not sure. I don't remember what it was, but I'll post the
So I believe it was Vogue. So it was, he's in a dress, and then in the in some of the pictures on the inside, he has a skirt, things like that. So Candace Owens made a mention about bringing masculinity back and how the family unit, but this is a diatribe that she has said before, how she doesn't believe the family unit can survive without masculine men. So Noah Cyrus chimed in, which what we assume is an answer to Candace Owens, and she says, he wears this dress better than any of you nappy ass hoes. He wears this dress better than any of you nappy ass hoes. And that's it. There's no punctuation at the end. So I'm not sure what inflection I'm supposed to do. He wears this better than any of you nappy ass hoes? Question mark? He wears this better than any of you nappy ass hoes. Period. He wears this better than any of you nappy ass hoes! Exclamation point. So, I don't know. You use your own punctuation mark. So that made me think of, now she had to apologize for her remark claiming she didn't know that it was racist. I am mortified that I used a term without knowing the context and history. But I know now, and I am horrified and truly sorry. I will never use it again. Thank you for educating me. I in no way meant to offend anyone. I am so, so sorry. Okay. You're chuckling, but hold on a second though.
I didn't say anything. You're telling me to hold on.
No, because hold on, because I'm looking at how this apology is written. And unfortunately, education needs to go a step further. I do think that visually the context of this is meant to be looked at in some way because all her eyes are not capitalized. There's no capitalization in the beginning of any sentence. She does have a comma, and she does have, but okay. So we'll see. I in no way meant to offend anyone, but there's no I blank in no way, like I, comma, in no way, comma, meant to offend anyone. I in no way meant to offend anyone. So here's my thing. She didn't mean to offend anyone, but she made a statement. No, you meant to offend because you wanted to clap back, as them children's be saying. She wanted to clap back at somebody. But the term nappy ass hoes. So Noah Cyrus, I don't really, I'm not really, I like pop culture, but I don't know, like we're not peers. I'm an old lady. Clearly, she's a young lady, girl, woman, whatever's. I'm surprised that so if she knows nappy ass hoes, she knows what she was saying. Do we believe her? Was this unintentional racism?
No, it's just plain racism. Just plain
So
racism.
cut to
Nappy, the word nappy is not a word that's like thrown around like, yeah, I'm just gonna use, you know what I mean? It's not.
yeah, that's not a conversational word
Right.
anymore. So it's
Like,
not really in
like,
vernacular.
who uses that? Like, really? I mean,
It's used derogatory.
unless you're in the Black culture, then, like Black people will make fun of, like, that is our pain. Like, we will hurt each other with words that other people use to hurt us.
But now we're talking about American subculture here, and she's not part of that American subculture.
Right.
She's not part of the Black community.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
and it's not, and I'm not saying she used a word that is allowable in an American subculture. What I'm saying is that she used a word in vernacular that's not part of her culture. So she knew what she was saying. So as part of like not being educated to what she was saying, she knew what she was saying. Don Imus, is that the guy's name? Who said all the basketball ladies were nappy-headed hoes?
Yeah.
A bunch of nappy-headed hoes?
I think I have audio. I just want to make sure that it's the correct audio. You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna say it, but let me see if this is it. Let me know if you can hear it. Just give me a second. But yeah, he's definitely the one. I think he called them jigaboos.
Oh,
those are not like like.
Oh, that's an old word. Oh my gosh,
it's crazy.
Except for this
Sorry, the commercial. I'm gonna let the commercial go by. But yeah, he just like on a whole nother level.
So I watched the basketball game last night between a little bit of Rutgers and Tennessee, the women's final.
Yeah, Tennessee won last night, 7th championship for Pat Summitt. Man, they beat Rutgers by 13 points.
That's some rough girls from Rutgers, man. They got tattoos and some hardcore hoes. That's some nappy-headed hoes there. I'm gonna take that now. Man, that's some move. And the girls from Tennessee, they all look cute, So like kind of like a, I don't know, Spike Lee thing.
Yeah.
Jigaboos versus the Wannabes. Yeah,
that movie that he had.
Yeah, it was a tough.
Do the right thing.
I don't know if I'd have wanted to beat Rutgers or not, but they did, right?
It is a tough watch. More look at Rutgers. They look exactly like the Toronto Raptors.
Well, I guess.
Yeah. Only tougher.
Well, the Grizzlies would be. And then front page of the.
So that's basically the gist of it. I'm not gonna play the whole thing.
But and then what's so crazy about that clip? I've never heard it in its entirety like that.
Right.
We're talking about a few different layers here. We're talking about the male gaze, right? Because it's what wasn't appealing to them, right? It's a jigaboo, it's a Spike Lee thing. It's they're looking rough. So it's not appealing to them. So okay, we have one version of the male gaze. Then we have you're talking about a culture thing like Spike Lee. He really brings to the forefront, in my opinion. I know not everyone's going to agree with this. In my opinion, he brings to the forefront certain topics and certain American culture subcultures that are so hard to communicate in that medium. So when he does it in such a, even if you view it as negative, right? That's not part of your view. He's doing it, I feel, in a respectful way, because that's the everyday life. That's what we're living in. Very few people can capture the essence and nuances and everything like that goes with that. So I'm curious. So I'll begin with a little story from me that we keep laughing about all the time. So I picture it, Long Island, 2 friends in a car, and you're like, oh, we're having a barbecue, whatever. I was like, I'm in. I'm totally in. I'm gonna bring whatever, and some watermelon. Excuse me? Why you bring watermelon? Why wouldn't I bring a watermelon? Why are you bringing watermelon to a black cookout? Because watermelon is delicious. You really don't know what about black people and watermelon? I was like, what? You really don't know? I'm like, I really don't know what you're talking about. Watermelon is delicious. Oh. And then you told me about this whole thing about watermelons, black people, whatever. And I literally had no clue. No clue. And
Right.
it wasn't like, was I unintentionally racist? I'm going to say no, but I wasn't intentionally racist either. We were talking about a cookout and what I'm going to bring. I'm not going to come empty-handed. But I think I did end up coming empty-handed. I know. But it's so funny because it's like, I genuinely had no idea about the watermelon thing. I just think watermelon's delicious, and that's what I wanted to bring. But it's so funny to me how, like, you know, as open and worldly as I have been in my life, there's still moments that we have, you know, that we don't know, that we don't really see. I remember being at a bar one day, and we were together, and a group of guys approached us, and of course, like, I was so happy. Tamika just put up a picture. Okay, you explain it.
So it's a nappy-headed hoe, watermelon,
A little girl.
with a little black doll. Actually, there's a whole watermelon at the edge of her dress, her red dress. Which, by the way, when you think about it, the dress kind of resembles watermelon.
Yeah.
So she got the red dress with the black dots, which symbolize the seeds, and her hair is somewhat like buckwheat from Little Rascals, for all those that know the Little Rascals reference. She's so happy eating her watermelon, and this is where the stereotypes come from. It's like,
So just so people know, the stereotypes of the artwork that she just started were actually part of a series in America that they did for Valentine's Day cards. So Valentine's Day cards used to be depicted, I believe it was in the 1880s? I can't remember now. It was sometime in the 1800s. They when Valentine's Day was beginning to be like when you started giving more cards, more commercialized, they were depicted, there were stereotypical depictions of, or cartoonish depictions, not stereotypical. The stereotype came after this. They were cartoonish depictions of Black Americans. And you see how, like, the little captions, I is so happy. And if you turn that card around, that you'll be my Valentine. So most of this artwork came during this whole, like, Valentine's Day card exchange.
but the depiction,
Right, is cartoonish depiction of a little girl eating watermelon.
right? But no, I'm saying, like, the depiction is to me, it's racist, and it's unintentional and intentional depending on the time period that you're speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes, it's one of those things where there's certain racial tropes that live with a culture their entire life. Like, this picture is probably from like early 1900s, and I just Googled it. It's gonna live in infamy forever. And
Right.
It's not, just going back to what you were talking about when you said you were coming, it was like with the watermelon, like, it was it was still kind of early in our friendship too. I mean, we were
Right.
friends a little while, but we were still trying to get to know each other. And it's like, it's one of those things where I'm sure you've gone through it too, being Latina, where you get these these moments where you're like, did that motherfucker just insult me? Like you're trying to figure out, like, you trying to be funny, or is this like, is this real? Like you really don't know, and you really didn't know. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, like, like you come into my family, are you like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and that's funny
you gotta
because
call
it's
people out on it though, even if it's one of those things where like, no, I didn't mean it that way, then you take it as it is and be like, oh, all right, no problem, we good. Bring your watermelon. And then you had a
I
relative one of your relatives, like that same year, gave me the pajamas. I don't even know if your relative really like understood, like the pajamas were monkeys.
I genuinely don't, because that person is just so flighty. I don't know.
But
I don't
it's
know.
like, that's why I was just like, okay. But it
Yeah.
was a consistent thing with this person. Like, but I don't
Right.
think it's like an unintentional, like that to me is an unintentional racist. Like, yo, bro, you're racist, but you don't even realize it. Like you're
Yep.
giving me a book about Michelle Obama. It's not even like an authorized book. It's like one of those tell-all Randy Tamborelli books. The pajamas, you know, I don't know any. I remember one time this person said, all the Jacksons I know are black. It's like, really? Like, Andrew Jackson, wasn't he a president? But anyway, so it's things like that. That to me is an unintentional racist. You're like,
Yeah.
this person for real?
They were for real.
But you got to question it. You know what I mean? And then you have a
Mhm.
conversation. But then there are those people that are like, they specifically, like, you pulled some shit out. Like going back to Noah Cyrus, it's like
Mhm.
nappy. The word nappy is not like an everyday. Like people don't use it like that. You know,
Right.
and a lot of in the Black culture, people have made shirts and stuff to try to like turn the word around, just like they try to turn the word nigger around. Like, but at the same time, even though in the culture you're trying to turn it around so that you can, I guess, feel good about it, you still don't want other people to use those words when
Yeah.
describing you and your culture. And
Yeah.
so I feel like she was how you the unintentional racist, because it's like,
Hmm.
okay, she's like mortified. I'm like, you're mortified? Like, where did you even get that word from?
Yeah.
Are you trying to be classy by spelling hoe with the HEAUX?
Oh, like hoax. It's so funny to me too, because it's like apologies. So this is what I teach my brood in my home. You can give an apology and be intentional on what you're giving it for, not a blanket, but understand that that person does not have to accept it.
Right.
They can appreciate it, but they don't have to accept it. Just like when somebody apologized to you, you can take it. You don't have to accept it. I have a question for you. Have you ever, it's not a question, I just want you to talk about it because I already know the answer. Have you ever been put in a position where someone has asked you something, you give an answer, and unfortunately the answer is just not good enough for what they want to hear? Now we're going down this like racial spiral. I'll give an example. I get asked all the time, to this day, why is my English so good? To which I answer, I'm from America. Yeah, but didn't you grow up in Puerto Rico? And the education system begins. Kudos to America. And I'm like, you do understand that
It's Betsy DeVos's fault, though. Put that on her.
And then they're like, but don't they speak Spanish? Oh, don't they speak Puerto Rican there? Sure. They speak Puerto Rican there. But like 80-90% of the island is bilingual. So has that ever happened to you?
You know what's crazy? The minute you started asking, crazy, because I'm starting to think to myself, every encounter that is polarizing and has to do with race and me explaining or trying to figure out has to do with you and your people.
Hispanic people, Puerto Ricans?
No, your family.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the first thing I thought about was when you asked that, I'm like, I immediately thought of somebody close to you who would not accept the fact I'm black. My people black. I'm from America. I'm from Long Island. I can trace it back years and years and years. Obviously, I'm black, so we come from slavery. Is that what you want to hear? I don't know what part of Africa. Now I do, because this was 10 years ago. Now I know what part of Africa I'm from, but back then there was no ancestry DNA. You know what I mean? So it's like the whole thing, like it's racist to question somebody about where you from, where your people from. And it's not just, I'm making a joke, but I've gotten it from West Indian cab drivers.
Oh no, you West Indian. Yep.
Like, no, I'm not.
No.
Me and you went to Tortola, you from Sea Bay. Like, no, bitch.
Oh, you're for sure. Yeah. No. And everyone's like, no, you see Cow's Bay.
And they will not accept it. Like, yeah. I'm trying to tell you, no, but where your people from? And it's not people. Where your people from? It's like, I can't win. And so to answer your question, yes.
I love how I think it's funny how so it's so but it like, when is this gonna die? Like, when is it gonna be enough? Because yeah. I find myself I have a good example. So I find myself explaining the other day the difference in vernacular for Central, South, and Caribbean America. Mm-hmm. And they're like, but Spanish is Spanish. I go, okay. When you go to England, and you understand them, right? They're speaking English, you understand them. But there's like humor, there's words that you just don't get, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, but there's context clues. Okay, exactly. This is exactly what I'm saying to you right now. Yes, we are speaking Spanish, but there's things in context and words. Like, if you ask somebody a mosquito bite in Puerto Rico and they're from Venezuela, you might get smacked in the mouth. And I'm not going to explain what the difference is because it doesn't matter, but you might get smacked in the mouth. So here we are. The biggest thing that I encounter that bothers me the most is when people say to me, oh, but aren't you Italian? No. Oh, wow, I really thought you were Italian. You just don't seem Puerto Rican. You don't act it. Okay. Oh, you don't look it. Okay.
How you were like immediately like tossed aside in the garbage yesterday's news when we were in Greece, and you were like, I'm not Greek, I'm Puerto Rican. They're like, oh
no,
they was done with you.
they were like, no, you're from here, you're Mediterranean. Like, not even a little bit. They're like, no. And then the more I was like, no, like legit, I'm from Puerto Rico. They're like, whatever, garbage. You don't want to listen, you Greek.
You Greek.
They were so offended. I'm like, oh no, I'm not from here. I think of that. I saw it's so funny. I think about like, and whenever I'm like, why? Because I don't have big hoop earrings and red lipstick. They're like, no. I'm like, but am I right though?
They have the stereotypes. You know what's so crazy though? Before, I know you're going to get into, I want to spend a little time, talking about the Hispanic stereotypes, but I did want to touch on one thing, which is about watermelon. And so I was like, let me Google some other stereotypes for other nationalities. And so I had no idea. So I'm like, okay, the banana is a black stereotype because of monkeys and stuff like that. But no, I've been ill-informed. I was ill-informed. So parents
school us, homie.
Found this. Oh, you can't see it. Shoot.
No, you can see it. You can see it. Banana, coconut, and Twinkie.
Okay. Yeah, you read it because my screen is blocked because I'm sharing it.
Okay, first of all, I didn't this. I am shocked. Banana, coconut, and Twinkie are pejorative terms primarily used for Asian Americans who are perceived to have been assimilated or acculturated into mainstream American culture who did not conform to typical South Asian or East Asian cultures. I had no clue. Banana, coconut, and Twinkie. I had no clue. No clue. You got any other ones?
You're not going to read the rest of it?
Oh. Banana and Twinkie refer to a person being perceived as yellow on the outside, white on the inside. Oh. While coconut is used to refer to darker skinned Asians, such as those from South Asia or the Philippines. Any of these terms may be used by Asians and Asian Americans as well as non-Asian Americans to disparage Asians or Asian Americans for the lack of perceived authenticity or conformity, and by the non-Asian Americans to praise their assimilation into mainstream white, Anglo-Christian, European American cultures.
That's some shit.
Who knew? I thought Twinkie was like a
food?
negative stereotype for gay Americans or gay people.
Oh, you know, I never thought of that. But why people gotta use food to disparage other people?
Food is delicious. First of all, bananas are great for you. Coconut is delicious.
Like,
I
if
just
I'm
can't
on an island, I want a coconut.
with a
Right.
and a straw put in the middle. And Twinkies,
like Twinkies
are great.
You know, as I gotten older, I'm like,
Yeah.
And then remember didn't they get bought out or some shit? And
Or the Twinkie shortage or something. Listen, I
Yeah.
haven't had a Twinkie in like 1,000 years, but
I have no desire though.
a banana is delicious.
But and watermelon. My mother doesn't like watermelon. See, not all Black people like watermelon. Anyway.
Do you have any other ones?
No, well, the other one that I got was the one that I sent you. You want to get into Hispanic Latino?
I am shocked. I didn't know that. I really didn't know.
You neither.
Banana, coconut, Twinkie.
It's like my eyes have been enlightened. And then that's why I wanted you to read the second part, because I'm like, the reason why. Like, I'm like, okay, that's vague. Like, why? And then when they broke it down, I'm like, really? That's some racist shit.
It's crazy to me too how, like, so when it comes to that immigrating culture, it's like, so it's I probably shouldn't be speaking on this, but this is the conversations that I've had. There's something considered to like, you know, when you come to another country to you know, for further advancement, financial and you know, for yourself and your family, things like that, for education and financial reasons. But the hold that they want still for their community, I think it's really hard. That's a hard thing to do. It's hard to be someplace and not to evolve based on your surroundings. So when you say that you have to preserve your way of life, it's a very tumultuous internal struggle, and we don't need to put ourselves down on top of everything else that we're trying to fight for and against and with. I think we need to still have compassion for ourselves and each other. You know, using these terms are better for nobody. And I understand the idea to preserve culture. I genuinely do. But it's also something that's very hard and unique to do when you're in a new environment and you just naturally assimilate. I think it's, you know, when we see teenagers and you know, the cluster of teenagers that all end up dressing alike, it just happens to be that visually you're bombarded with things that are now appealing, and you kind of change that. And I think we've all been guilty of that at one point or another. And then, you know, as you develop as an adult, you fall into what you find comfortable and comforting. So it's, you know, I just hope that, you know, we continue to look at these things with a lens of compassion, and you can't be hard on yourself or others. And these terms are not helping anyone. And to put someone down for looking at their environment and finding things that they like, you know, it's just not helpful. And I think it's very detrimental to the self. Anyway.
I get it. What about, so back to like do you think that it's possible to make racist remarks and comments unintentionally?
Oh, to a degree.
I just want to show one thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna show it um without telling you what it is, and you tell me if you think this was particularly unintentional, or if it was stupid. Or ready?
I'm ready.
And you can tell people what you're seeing.
So I have a story about this
Okay.
later. Okay, so the Netflix series Orange is the New Black, Crazy Eyes. The character was portrayed by Julianne Hough for Halloween, but your girl done did some blackface on it. Like full on
She got
blackface.
that blue eyes. She don't need contacts, blue eyes.
No, she has striking blue eyes. But whether she had brown eyes, it doesn't matter.
No, but I felt that I'm only saying that because there's like certain features that certain people are unwilling to negotiate on.
Oh, right. She darkened her skin but didn't use color contacts.
It's like, okay, you want to, you know what I'm saying? You felt
Yeah.
it darken your skin. You know what I mean?
And she sprayed her hair because her hair is very, very blonde, and she sprayed it like a brown. But her hair is so light that it looked like it didn't look dark. It didn't look black. It looked like a copper color.
Right.
So she sprayed her hair, sprayed her skin, and then here's where I have an issue with blackface. You can never say that it's unintentional because it's such a deep-rooted American cultural thing that
Like,
I think
even all year, every year,
that it's even in the backwaters of, without amazing access to education, you still know that this is not okay.
There's no denying it. It's like,
this will never be okay. And here's the thing though, and she's not alone. She has a team of people with her.
right.
So nobody decided to be like, homegirl, before you step out, because she claims that she's Mormon and didn't know. Okay. All right. You're going to say you didn't know, but not a one person around you. And that's when you look at your team. Like if she really didn't know, that's when she looks at her team like, not only are you all fired, lose my effing number. Because not one person said to her.
Thing is like bullshit.
The what?
That Mormon shit is bullshit because you've been in celebrity circle environment long enough to know.
But now all of a sudden she's Mormon, but she's queer.
God.
Okay. So she's not so Mormon.
But moving on.
I'm just saying, if you're going to come with it, come all the way with it. If she's claiming to be Mormon and she didn't know, then okay, but now you're queer. All right. Sure. And now you're getting divorced? Sure. Let's see what the Mormon Tabernacle has to say about that. I've met Mormons. We know Mormons. You and I both know Mormons. And
I don't know no Mormons. Do I know Mormons?
Yeah. And there's no way on God's green earth she didn't know that this was wrong, or anybody around her. So there is.
She's an intentional racist.
That was intentionally racist, and she just thought she could get away with it because
Right.
she's Julianne Hough.
That right there is the key thing that you just said. It's like, how far can you push, for some people, can you push the boundaries, getting away with it without, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, I can do this, but that's crossing the line. You know what I mean? And it is what it is.
So oh my gosh. So I'm so glad you brought this up, because I had this week, homie, I think it was like on Wednesday, the secretary at my job, she's a very, very big Prince fan. Like she's, what do they call the fan base?
I don't know.
They have a name.
Okay, whatever.
So she's telling me, so me, her, and then somebody else were talking. She's like, oh, you got to see how because she goes all out for Halloween. Like she dresses up, so she goes, yeah, 1 year I was Boy George. I've been Prince a bunch of times. She's like, we go out and we do karaoke and I sing all his songs. She goes, you got to see my Prince costume. And she's looking on her phone, right? And then I'm like, oh no. oh no, in my head, right? Because she's like a 5'11" blonde, fair-skinned woman. Prince is not, right? And I'm like, oh Jesus. And she goes, oh, here's the perfect picture. And as she's like takes her phone, I'm like, it's slow motion. It's slow motion. And she turns it, right? And I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. She didn't do blackface. She had like she did a little pencil mustache.
Oh,
And she had like the hair and stuff like that, the Purple Rain outfit, and then like a blow up guitar. And I was like, homegirl, for real? I was like choking on the inside because I thought you were going to show me you in blackface. And I thought we was going to have a conversation. And she goes, I'm dumb, but I'm not stupid. And I was like, thank you so much. And the other girl that was standing there, she starts laughing. And she goes, people don't do that anymore.
Where's she been? She obviously ain't watching TV.
She got 6 kids. She's busy.
I don't care how busy you are. People know. People be knowing.
People be knowing. But it was one of those things like, oh, Lord, please. And I like her too. And as she turned it around, I was like.
You feel like a sigh of relief.
It was such a sigh of relief. And then we kept making fun because the mustache looked really real. Apparently what she did was she got lashes. And she ironed them a little bit and she put them this way. And she cut them and put them like as the mustache, not on her eye. Yeah, but I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that's me. That's me on a Tuesday. Because these masks, you don't be taking care of yourself no more. And so we just started laughing about that. But what a sigh of relief that somebody didn't do blackface.
Yeah.
So I want to go over some Hispanic stereotypes. Can we do that?
I'm waiting.
Okay, Latinas are spicy, curvy sex pots, and all Latinos are Latin lovers. First of all, I'm shaped like a potato, and I know for sure not every Puerto Rican I know is a Latin lover. We don't know how to control our temper.
I'm talking about Puerto Ricans.
Oh, I'm just saying Hispanics.
Okay.
We don't know how to control our temper. I am the most even-tempered person I think I've ever met.
I know 2 Puerto Ricans very well. You and my stepmother.
Mm-hmm.
Her temper gets very outrageous. Yours doesn't. So, and you two are different people. Like I feel like
it's a personal thing. I know 1,000 Caucasians that don't know how.
How are you gonna make a blanket stereotype? Because my dad has a huge temper when it comes to like loud. He's mild. He's a mild temper but loud person. You know what I'm saying?
That is a very good description.
Right.
That's a very good description.
Thanks.
We all have huge families. False.
Well, you got a pretty big family though.
You mean me, myself?
Yeah.
Oh, having 3 kids is a lot. Yeah, I did.
No,
I've always wanted to.
No, I'm talking about your fam. Like, I think when they talk about family, are they talking about like immediate family, or are they just talking about like my?
See, that's the thing. That's
abuela, papi.
Yeah, but now we're talking like I have 12 cousins that I know. You have like 31 first cousins. So it's like
right now.
Oh, my bad. So I don't know how they mean. I don't know what they mean by this. But it says not all Latinx, have 12 tios and 50 cousins.
They all do. We all have 12 tios and 50 cousins. We just don't know them all. But I think they're talking about, they live in the same house and they all, break bread. And yeah, I don't think that's a stereotype.
So all Latinos look the same.
Oh my God. Just because you look like Jennifer Lopez doesn't mean anything.
Bitch, I wish I did. To be honest with you, her body is banging. I will say that. Her body's banging.
You see the what you call, you see that new Netflix special, or like it's on Selena. It's like a
the docuseries, whatever it's called. Yeah.
And so the family was talking about how much backlash they got when Jennifer Lopez played Selena 20-something years ago. Well, they were like, because Mexicans were like, she's a Puerto Rican. We got a Puerto Rican playing us. You know what I'm saying? She don't even look like she Mexican. So it's like that, like people that are not Latino or Hispanic, or they just generalize. Like they'll be like, all Black people look alike. All Asian people look alike. You can be from Vietnam.
Don't tell that nobody to some from Philippines about
right,
like
exactly.
Filipino.
Nobody said all white people look alike, unless Nobody really
Okay.
says that. Unless they start breaking it down. I'm like, I thought that was the same person. You got to show the picture, then you'd be like, oh yeah. But a
You
blank
go,
statement, they don't
fight
say it.
me.
They don't
Fight me
say
and
the
tell me that's not the same person. Exactly.
They don't
Exactly.
say a blanket statement. You know what I mean? They say
Yeah.
it when it's in your face. So no, all Latinos do not look alike.
Latino intelligence is judged on our competency in English.
You were just talking about that. Bullshit.
Meanwhile, I don't know how many people I know with a PhD with broken English. All Latinos are machos. All Latinos have a limited education. Funny story. My first semester of college, I went to Suffolk County Community College. And I'm sitting, and this professor is like, oh, I bet most of you are first-time college entrants, and you have a big responsibility for your household. By show of hands, who's the first person in their family to go to college? And I don't raise my hand. And he's like, Miss, you're not the first person.
Called you out?
He goes, Miss, you're not the first person in your family to go to college? I went, no. And he's like, and what's your background? And I was like, what do you mean? What's your ethnic background? I said, I'm Puerto Rican. And he goes, and you're not the first one in your family to go to college? I went, no, I'm not, actually. Oh, you have an older sibling? I said, I do, but my grandmother was a school teacher. My dad has a degree in marketing, and my mom actually did go to college, but didn't finish. Really? Really? All right, well, moving on. And I was like, okay. All right. Yeah. Latinos, oh wait, limited education. All Latinos are illegal. This week, I haven't
tell you that you was illegal.
No. So this week, in a family gathering, I was talking to, I'll call her an aunt, for lack of a better word, an auntie. She's 93 years old, and I was asking her about my grandfather, like, you know, her generation. And I was translating for somebody else at the table. And they go, how did she get here to this country? I go, she's always been in this country. No. When she came to this country, how old was she? So she was born in this country. And they're like, no, when she came to this country, she wasn't born here. I go, she was born here. And he's like, isn't she from Puerto Rico? I was like, Puerto Rico is part of the United States. She literally went to fucking the airport and paid $29 to get on American Airlines. And he's like, so yeah, when did she come to this country? She was always in this country. She literally just drove to the airport and paid $29 to get on an airplane. Like, mofo, what the hell's wrong with you?
I hate people. I don't know. Anyway.
Latinos are loud.
Well, we discussed that.
If you're Latino, you're Mexican, right?
Can you be loud and angry? Can you be angry and loud at the same time? Well, I guess you can be angry and not loud. Like, I'm an angry person. I'm always angry. But it's like, I'm like.
You know what's so funny? I saw this meme the other day, yelling in lowercase, and that's you. You yell in lowercase.
I'm not a Cyrus. But you know how she wrote in lowercase?
Yeah. And that I have a lot of things to do. There's these things that we do in handwriting, like it has to do with personality traits, because the way like you went doesn't matter. Latinos are either hardworking or lazy.
Oh my God.
And I think this is enough because I'm starting to get angry on the inside.
Okay, moving on. Good show.
Moving on.
No, okay.
What'd you say?
I said good show.
Good show. Hold Homie,
Yeah.
anything to add?
No. I'm over it.
Well, I think it's time for
Marisa's musings.
Hello.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Grab my post-it note.
You got your Julie Chen card?
Listen, if I don't host something on national television once in my life, I haven't done anything.
We are now.
We're
on YouTube. We look good in HD.
I do. My face is meant for TV. I don't know what the hell this universe is doing, but my face is meant for TV. So I want to talk about
right?
What?
I'm using this as a clip.
Yes, use it. Forgiveness. I want to talk about forgiveness. Sometimes you can forgive, just not forget. The relationship can move past and continue to grow. But how? And now what? You're not hurt. You're not in pain. Just perhaps shifted. How and where have you made amends to those who have wronged you? Do you ever feel like you've moved past it all? Have you ever wronged someone else? Ask for forgiveness. But now what?
No. There's only one person I'll never forgive. And those who know, know.
Oh, wait, you're this way.
Depends on the verse. Anyway.
And with that, I thank you, America. And where else? South Korea.
South Korea. Oh, yeah, South Korea. Oh, you want me to pull up the thing real quick?
Sure.
I should have had this. Well, I didn't know we were going to do this, but we do have people from around the globe.
Around the globe.
Yeah.
Mr. Sneakerhead, while you're driving, ponder this.
What?
Mr. Sneakerhead, he knows who he is. Mr.
Oh,
Sneakerhead.
oh, I didn't hear the I thought you said Tamika Head. I'm like, what?
No, Mr. Sneakerhead, as you're pondering this while you're driving, think on it. But think of it for yourself and where you're growing and where you're going.
In life. You know what? This is going to take too long. I can't.
So you know what, y'all? You can catch us on Facebook, the Yep Yeah Yes podcast.
Oh, I found it. Sorry. Okay.
Post it, girl.
We have the top 5 places that we were listened to. You let me know if you know people in these areas, then can kind of make some sense. United States, know anybody in the US?
Okay. I think I know a few.
India?
No.
India was second. There's a few people in India. Colombia.
Hey, India.
Colombia.
Barranquilla. No, wait. Is Barranquilla in Colombia?
No.
Barranquilla, I think is... I'm in the wrong place.
UK.
I know a few people in the UK. Hey!
Sweden.
Bob's your uncle.
Sweden.
What? I'll go there. Who I gotta meet?
But do you know anybody? Okay.
No, I don't know nobody in Sweden.
All right. Those were the top 5 locations where our podcast was downloaded.
Listen, Colombia and Sweden. I'll get on a plane right now. You let me know where I'm going. I'm ready to break bread.
I'm not ready for 2021. Late 2021. 2022. I got to make sure nobody dies from the vaccine. Make sure everybody's good to go. Once everybody's good to go, I see that people have lived a few months, then I'll make my journey into it. And I need to know that they tested this shit on Black people in their 40s.
Listen, I really have to tell you though, so I keep looking at this because I think I might be part of like the herd immunity folk. I'm not sure about this. Do you see how some people are coming out with, there's a lot of things listen, we have been studying AIDS for how long? We've been studying cancer for how long? Rona just came out and already we got a vaccine? I'm not sure if I trust it, homie.
New show for another day.
Okay. The Yep Yeah Yes podcast on Facebook. Yep, yeah, yes, 18 on Instagram and Twitter. Open YouTube. Catch my face out. It's kind of nice. You're welcome. And if you want a cup, let me know.
Oh,
I'm joking.
no,
You're gonna have to listen a
no.
little further.
You have to have a cash app for that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah. Okay.
That makes
We need a proper show for some cups.
Shoot, I'm trying to buy Christmas gifts for my niece and nephew. Shoot.
Oh, girl.
Dollar store is open till about 10.
Homie, I love you. You're perfect.
Love you too. And we'll see you next week, y'all. Bye now.
Bye now.